and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before. Spotify has 180 million monthly users and access to 35 million songs and podcasts. Now, all those offerings are going to have to move over and make room for GabNet programming. Yes, at long last, Alex Bennett's Ramble, Damian Chaplin's Exchange, Jack Bishop's The Intersection, and even the franchise MC's Arena and Michael Snyder's weekly movie reviews will be fighting for space on this massive platform. Each day, the programs are updated, so you can hear them on the Spotify app, available for all smartphones and game consoles. Or you can just go to Spotify on the web at spotify.com. So, give us a shot on Spotify. There's a 35 million to 5 chance we'll get people to listen to talk like they've never heard it before.
Hi everybody, this is Alex Bennett, and I've had a long and interesting trip. It's called life. And for years, people have demanded that I write a book about it, and while I've been a writer, my main talent has always been that of a broadcaster. Over a year ago, I decided not to write the book, but using my best skill, I decided to tell it. It's called Life in the Passing Lane, and I described it as an audio biography. It's presented in 30-minute chapters, so it's easy to binge listen. And you can access it on the GabNet page by clicking on Life in the Passing Lane and going to a page with every single episode, plus some extras. If you want to access it on your mobile device, that's easy too. It's on iTunes. It's Life in the Passing Lane, an audio biography by me. I'm Alex Bennett.
Evolution is defined as any process of formation or growth, development. The evolution of a radio program right before your ears. Welcome into the Exchange. It's Rob Alfano, and it's a Wednesday night, a special night, and we'll talk about that in just a few moments. You're going to give us a call on Skype in a little while.
I'm Jim Browning. You're listening to the Exchange. Well, our long national nightmare just may be over. It seems that we are ready to say goodbye to reality television.
Good evening and hello, everybody. Welcome to the Exchange, your safe haven for the free and open exchange of ideas and opinions here on the Great American Broadcast Network every Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 10 Eastern, 6:30 to 7 Western. I'm your host and broker, Damian Chaplin. If you'd like to join the conversation tonight, go ahead and give us a call on Skype. I'm opening the lines right now.
The Exchange, one program, ever evolving. Be a part of evolution. Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 p.m., Damian Chaplin moves you in new directions. Call GabNet Live on Skype at 347-352-0079. The Exchange, the evolution. Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, only on GabNet. 5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey! Hey everybody, it's Alex Bennett, and this of course is the Ramble, and it goes from now until midnight tonight if something doesn't go wrong like it usually does lately. But we're all ready to go tonight and to talk to an old friend of ours. Ladies and gentlemen, he's lean, he's mean, he's Larry Bubbles Brown.
Yes, I'm lean because I followed the rules of Jim Fix.
Yeah, we talked about that last time. A guy who used to say, if you run, you'll live forever, and then he dropped dead while running.
There actually were, when jogging became big in the late 70s, there were a couple of people wrote books that they actually thought by jogging you might be able to live forever. They really believe that.
Really?
Yeah, so stupid.
I go down to the gym. I've been doing it less lately. I've been doing it about once a week, but I usually go down and do 25 minutes on the cycle. And as I'm sitting there, especially during the first 10 minutes of it, I'm going, what the fuck am I doing? I'm like a fucking gerbil.
Yeah.
I do, and everybody says, oh, that's so good. You do 25 minutes on the cycle 3 times a week. Oh, yo, that's great for you. And you know something? I can't say it made me feel any better. I'm still just as tired, So I don't know that it's it's like, I think what Bobby Slayton said, if you spend 25 minutes on a cycle or every day for a week, when you die, you will have wasted so many hours of your life.
It's exhausting and boring.
Hey, there's no, I got to tell you, if there's anything I've learned now at 79, going on 80 years of age, okay, is that, and as I see all these other people I know dying in their 70s and sometimes in their 60s, I go that, when your time's up, your time's up. That's it. Look at John Singleton.
51.
51 years old. And he dropped dead. He was a young man, so far as I'm concerned. He was, 28 years younger than I am? So, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go. Every now and then I have a friend or something who dies, and they're much younger than I am, and they go. I'm sure you've had some people, you're how old now, 64, did you say?
I'm Medicare, I'm 66.
You're 66. So you've seen some of your friends die, in recent years, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's always disturbing. I read the obituaries because I still read newspapers, and I always look,
Yeah.
And there's always someone younger than me that's died for the last 10 years.
Yeah, but I don't know that you're not going to go tomorrow.
I know the guy that Dana Carvey told me, the guy that manages his money. He said he's pretty conservative with the money, but he told Dana, he said, don't be afraid to spend money because he's had too many clients that had zillions of dollars and croaked. Should have some fun. You never know.
Yeah, but here's the problem with that theory. Okay, I've thought about that. At my age, I'm still, I'm on a fixed income, so I'm very careful about how I spend my money, and I've got, maybe a couple of $100,000 available to me, if not more. Marjorie has an apartment that she owns that's worth about $400,000, and it's almost paid off. So we do have money we could survive on, and I'm saying to myself, why don't I spend it now? I don't know what tomorrow brings.
Well, yeah. Well, he said don't go nuts, but he said don't be afraid to spend some of it. But.
Yeah. Because to begin with, I would. I have a business manager, Gary, who's made sure that my credit cards are always paid off. I don't owe a penny, except for this month's bill, to a credit card company. Okay? Very few people can say that. And I'm very happy about that. But I would hate to die and not owe these people some fucking money, because there's nobody they can come to and try and get it from. I don't think they can get it from my wife. I think that's protected. The debts that I incur are protected from her. So, and let's say she goes before I do, which, she thinks is going to happen. Okay. I don't think it's going to happen. But, but let's say she goes before I do. Okay, now I'm sitting here. I got all this money. It's not a lot of it, but enough. And I don't use it? Who's going to get it? We don't have any kids. Who am I going to leave it to? My friend Shecky? He's worth a couple of million. I don't need to leave money to Shecky. So who do I leave? I'll leave it to you, okay?
Leave it to me. Well, it would be nice if people had an expiration date so we knew how we could spend our money.
Well, yeah, if you knew when you were going to die, well, that would be horrible to know. But if you knew when you were going to die, then you could spend appropriately. But I think a lot of us wind up leaving money behind, but we usually leave it for the kids, We leave it for the grandkids. Crap like that.
That is the great fear is being old and having no money.
The great fear is being old and having no money, which is the case of most old people. Because a lot of cases, medically, you get eaten alive.
Even with Medicare.
Yeah. And that's why I'm such a socialist. What is that rattling?
Could be. It might be the death rattle.
What? Wait a minute. Something has decided to start rattling in the studio. Whenever you hear a rattling noise going on, you go, what's wrong? What part of the studio just broke? Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I have no idea what that rattle is. But anyway, so did you hear that, by the way?
I did hear it, yes.
You did hear it. Okay. Well, that's the mysterious rattle, folks. That's the death rattle of my studio. That means something's breaking somewhere. Anyway, so the question is, how much money do you spend? If you knew when you were going to die, you would know how much to spend. If I knew that I was only going to live the next 2 years, I'd start spending like a drunken sailor.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'd worry so much about death. My ex-wife, Ronnie, of course, has what is essentially terminal cancer. It's just there's no expiration date on it. And every time they give her a scan or something like that, they say, well, things are looking better,
Really?
So she, in a way, she's been given a death sentence, as it were. But since it is not finite, it's the same as anybody else's life. Now, what the hell is that?
I hear it again.
Oh, well, that's not a piece of equipment. There is something in it only happens occasionally up on the roof or something. There's something, and it starts. You hear that? There we go again. That's wonderful. Okay. But it's not coming from within the studio. I can hear it. It's in the ceiling. Oh, well. Stop it! Anyway, so and sometimes it gets really noisy, and then it stops. And I don't know what the hell it is. Been going on for the longest time. But when you have an old house like this, or apartment like this, or building like this, there's just all kinds of things going on. And it's... Where is that? Hold on a second. No, it's coming from the ceiling. Oh boy! Essentially, there is a sound that happens every now and then. It's not exactly like that, but But all I'm saying is that if we knew how long we were going to live, then we could spend accordingly. Meanwhile, I have nobody to leave the money to outside of you.
Well, let's do that paperwork.
Let's do the paperwork. Yeah. Well, right now, the only will I have is the one I made up with my wife, and she gives everything to me, and I give everything to her. Mm-hmm. Now, listen to that. Hear that? It's getting worse.
That sounds like a jackhammer.
and then it stops. Oh, this is wonderful. I love this. It's the ghost of our apartment house.
You know what famous actor was on his way to change his will to give it to his kids instead of his horrible wife, and he died on the way to the lawyer's office of a heart attack?
Oh, I know somebody. I got one for you. Here's a guy who died after being in his doctor's office doing a treadmill test in which his heart was pronounced sound as a dollar.
Who was that?
Jack Barry. Do you remember Jack Barry? Jack Barry was the was a game show host. Hosted the show 21, produced it as well, and then went on to do The Joker is Wild and a couple of other things as years went on after the 21 scandal. And he went to his doctor's office. They gave him the stress test on the treadmill. The doctor looked at the stuff, said, "You're in great shape, pal." And he left the office. Literally it was on Central Park. Central Park, what was it, 59th Street, right? And he walks out, and he's walking into the park and drops dead.
Jesus.
So much for being at a doctor's and getting a health test. How long is this going to keep up this noise? Wow. Well, we don't stop tape, folks, or stop tape.
Keep going.
Listen to how old-fashioned I am. We don't stop file just because there's a noise, because if I did that every time something happened in this apartment house, I'd never get anything done. But anyway, so how do you want to die?
That's...
Here we go again. We're talking death.
I don't. I don't like the heart attack. It's too soon, and I'd like a little time so I can get things done.
So you would like to know you're dying, but you can.
I'd like to have a couple of months, but not have something that was real painful.
What I always felt was great. I always admired two people, Ingrid Bergman and Audrey Hepburn, who both knew they had terminal diseases, so they went back home. I think Audrey Hepburn to wherever she was from, and Ingrid Bergman to wherever, Sweden or Norway, Sweden I think it was, and had time to say goodbye to everybody, and make amends to people maybe that you had an argument with, Mm-hmm. I think it would be terrible to drop dead after having an argument with your wife, or somebody you cared about. Yeah. This thing is not going to stop making this noise, folks, so just live with it. It does sound like a jackhammer, but it isn't. It's like a little baby jackhammer in the ceiling. Yeah. I think what it is, it's a fan on the roof of the building that sometimes gets a little off kilter, and then it all kind of stops, I had another sound in another room here, and it turned out it was a hot water pipe that you can actually see physically that goes up through the room. And if I had to literally put a pillow between it and the wall, and it stopped the sound. But this, I don't know. It's if I go into the bathroom, I think it's even louder in there. So that's the fun of living in a house like this. So
it's probably 80 years old.
But anyway, so that whole idea of getting back to that, of being able to say goodbye to the people you love, seems to me not the worst idea in the world. Okay?
Might be a little emotional.
Might be emotional. But for instance, my ex-wife, Ronnie, she knows she's got inoperable cancer, but she's going through chemo, and the chemo seems to be working, at least for the time being. So, but she has a chance to be nicer to some people maybe that she had wronged. She has time she and I have had some quality time on the phone, on Skype, talking to each other. It stopped. Oh, God, thank God it stopped. It'll start up again.
It'll be back.
Anyway, well, sometimes it isn't back for months. Anyway, So she, she has time to kind of tie things up, And now she says she thought she was going to die within a year to 2 years, and they said the chemo is kind of working and that they have no prediction about how long she's going to live. And she said one of the things she did, she quit working out because she figured, why should I do that? Why should I waste my time doing that if I'm going to die? Okay. And there were a couple other things she said she stopped doing that she's now started doing again because she said, I really don't know how long I'm going to live now. And I said, none of us really do. I mean, I could drop dead tomorrow. I'm sitting here waiting. And that's a hell of a way for me to live. Like I got this PSA test for prostate, and it had gone up quite a bit over a 4 in the last test, which means that I probably have prostate cancer, okay? But there are several kinds of prostate cancer. One is so slow moving that they simply give you hormones for it and it keeps it at bay, okay? And that something else will probably kill me before the prostate cancer ever does. But nevertheless, it's 2 months away, that test, and I am worrying about it every morning that I wake up. Now, is that any way to live?
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, and I shouldn't worry about it because the doctor told me, no, let me worry about it. I said, am I going to lose my prostate? He said, never. He said, what you've got is probably what every man over at your age, over 80, 70% of men get prostate cancer.
Right.
But at that age, it's so slow growing that you just...
They'll die of something else.
It's what they call watchful waiting. The doctor will look at it every 6 months, see if he sees anything, and if he doesn't, take another test in 6 months, But I've got to quit living this way. I've got to quit worrying about that and just do it. And if it's as it is, we'll do what we have to do, whether it's a biopsy or whatever, and then we'll put me on some hormones, and I'm good to go. And it's not going to kill me. So, that being the case, if that's not going to kill me, he says something else will before the prostate cancer kills you. And I said, oh, that's good to know. Now I'm going to sit around worrying about what it is that is going to get me. Oh, something else is going to get me first. Oh, that's good news. Thank you. I'm very happy. Something's going to get me. Well, something's going to get all of us. But lately I've started thinking about what life is like after death, because that has always frightened me. And not that I'm going to hell or anything like that. I don't believe in that shit, okay? But maybe there is something. And I was watching like some science show or something, and oh, I know what it was. It was my screensaver. And my screensaver is like of the planets and the stars and so on, right? And I was looking over at it one night and thinking, maybe that's where we go. Maybe we are, we are star stuff. That we are. There's something about us that when we die, we become part of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound crazy?
No, but we won't have any awareness of it.
No, we may have awareness of it. That's the point.
Oh, well.
It may be, could it be that this life that we have now is just a cocoon?
I like that.
Which, by the way, was the title of a very famous movie about a stuttering black guy.
God.
Oh, isn't that the worst joke you ever heard?
Jesus.
But then again, fuck you. I'm so old. How old am I? That I don't have to be fucking politically correct. You can blow
right.
me. And so can the whole fucking Me Too movement. They can blow me. This whole thing. What got me was this whole thing. I've been griping about it for days with Kate Smith. Did you hear about this?
Yeah, they took her statue down because She sang a racist song 100 years ago or something.
She sang a racist song, and I guess it was recorded, in a Broadway show. You know, it sounded like she wrote it, you know. And it's called Why Darkies Were Born. And they were born to till the fields. And it's actually not a... It's only racist in its assumptions of the time, okay? But it's not a racist song. This woman, I was talking to my friend Shecky about her, and I remember Kate Smith, and you may have. She was still around, I think, while you were growing up. There's a big fat woman. You always felt that she you always wear black dresses, and you thought you could have sworn they had sweat stains on them. But anyway, and she had a daily show on radio and television. And she's famous for having sung God Bless America, an Irving Berlin song. And they've taken her statue down in Philadelphia, and they don't play God Bless America any longer at the Yankees games during the seventh inning stretch. Why? Because she supposedly recorded this racist song back in, I think, 1926.
Wow.
Yeah. Which, by the way, was also recorded by Paul Robeson, who was the definitive black singer in America and considered a communist and very much a proud black man. He sang that song.
A true black hero.
Along with singing Old Man River in the movie Showboat, the original version of Showboat. She gets given a bad time for this, and then Shecky tells me, do you realize Kate Smith raised $1 billion? Now, this is at a time when $1 billion was 100 million.
Something.
Yeah, it was 100 million or something. 1,000 million. 1,000 million. In fact, I saw a movie once where they said, I could make you millions. In fact, I could make you thousands of millions. And I went, isn't that $1 billion? They didn't even have a concept of $1 billion back then. She raised $1 billion for the war effort in World War II. It's a lot of money. And was she racist? There was a singer by the name of Josephine Baker. Couldn't get hired in the United States. She went to France and became the toast of Europe as a chanteuse and as a performer. And she came back to the United States to try and, get big over here, and nobody would put her on because she had a reputation of being too sexy and things like that. And plus, she was just a black singer. Guess who had her on her radio show and television shows? The only performer to do so, Kate Smith.
There you go.
So what's this bullshit about Kate Smith being a racist? She just happened to sing the wrong song at the right time, actually. I mean, in fact, I don't know who wrote the song. It may have even been Irving Berlin. I don't know. But it's certainly, come on. Stop it already with this political correctness.
Gotta stop. It's annoying.
It absolutely is. It's incredibly annoying. And you must be getting tired of it on the stage.
Oh, you self-censor now. You gotta be so careful about anything you say. So.
Yeah. You can't even make those old jokes about women anymore, can you?
No, I can't do it.
Yeah. In fact, you had a catchphrase. I know it's a stupid catchphrase, folks, but he would go, hookers?
Hookers and park at whore.
Park at whore. And you wouldn't do that anymore, right?
Oh, no, you'd be thrown off the air. So.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably half the stuff we did on your show, we'd be thrown off the air for now.
Larry used to do the traffic reports on my radio show, and he would say there's a stalled car on the west side, on the 101.
101 or whatever
and
it is, so they park at whore.
Park at whore. Yeah. By the way, before we leave, and we're running a little over here, but could you give us a traffic report?
Yes, a woman's been savagely rear-ended on 101. And then one of the women that worked, she'd record a little moan. It was it was fun then, but now my God,
if we did
arrested,
it now, man, we'd be in trouble. In fact, if I went back on the air in San Francisco, they'd probably say the Bennett show was sexist. Listen to how Larry Bubbles Brown and what he did on his traffic reports. Park it, whore. Savagely rear-ended. Anyway. Hey, we've run out of time, Bubs.
It's too fun.
2 more half hours of our life, or 25 minutes of our life wasted. But we had fun.
We had fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Larry Bubbles Brown. Goodbye, goodbye, Bubs.
Bye, Alex.
5 years and still talking. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
And that's our good friend Larry Bubbles Brown. And yes, we're on tonight. We're not on with my new machine. It's the old machine, but the old machine, which is the new machine. We have 2 varieties of machines here. One we call the trash can. That's the new one. And that's the one that keeps constantly doing something which I normally like. It keeps going down on us. But last night we couldn't even do a show because every time I go back on, it would immediately reboot the machine. And it's been sitting in the other room all day, on and off, rebooting itself. And sometimes waiting for hours and hours and hours and hours. Right? So I'm taking it to Apple tomorrow, and they got to fix it because it's something they did when they upgraded everything in that machine. I thought I was getting a better machine, but apparently I was getting what turns out to be a worse machine. So anyway, let's see if we can do. We're doing this with the old standby, the old cheese grater. And it's a great little computer, and our lines are open. And who knows? Maybe we can get it all to work fine. But we'll. So far, it looks good, right? I'm looking at the picture. Yeah. See, it looks fine. So give us a call. Lines are open. Skype me at GabNet Live, or there's a phone number over at gabnet.net, which you can. It's at the bottom of the page. You can call. We prefer you not do it by phone because it's not as much fun when we can't see you. But anyway, we're waiting for our first caller, and who knows who that will be? Probably, let's see, who's out there right now? Let's see, Scott Boddicker is on. Charlie Wallace is online. Phil Meyer is online. If the 2 of them call, we'll be able to put them up on our screen, which right now is empty. Look at that. See? Because nobody's calling. See? It's empty. Mm-hmm. So, there we go. That's Charlie Wallace is the first one in. He's the first one in this evening. Let me see here. Let me put him on... he's already there. He was in the first spot on this one before. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie Wallace. Hello, Charlie. How are you?
I am.
Yeah. You doing okay?
Yep. Just enjoying the weather down here in Arizona.
In Arizona. Yeah, I keep forgetting you're not in Texas anymore.
No.
Do you miss Texas?
Yeah, sometimes I do. But I like the mountains. The mountains are gorgeous.
In Arizona?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait a minute. Let me see. Eddie Jordan is calling us, and it probably, yes, it does what it did last night, so we'll have to call Eddie back, add him to the call, and let me see here. There we go. Let's see here. Phil Meyer says, it's not going through. What do you mean it's not going through? Here you go, Phil. Phil has been, I missed that call, so now I'm going to have to call Phil back. So hold on a moment, ladies and gentlemen, while I call Phil back and add him to the group, okay? And then I got to add Eddie Jordan to one of our spots here. Hold on, Eddie. Let's see here, Eddie Jordan. There's Eddie Jordan. Okay. And then, we got to add Spot Boddicker, but of course we're going to have to call him back because Skype has been so fucked up lately that it's okay. Let me add
I
him.
was the first one calling, and I actually got rejected 3 or 4 times.
Why did you get rejected?
I got a message that just said that it was on GabNet was unavailable.
Yeah, I did.
Then,
Yeah,
and
me
then
too.
then it told me that my signal was too weak, and at that point you called me back.
Oh, right. And then let's see here. Tony Magno is calling, and Scott Boddicker. We actually have Scott up, so let me put Scott. Let's see here. He would go in the 4th spot.
Oh,
Here we
I like the
go.
4th spot.
You like the 4th spot, do you? Okay, hold on a second. Scott Boddicker, put him in the 4th spot. There we go. And now I'm just waiting for Tony to call back, and we'll be. Well, maybe did I put him up there? Hold on a second. Oh, here he comes. Well, here comes Tony again. And of course, Tony Magno missed call. Okay, let me go put Tony up here. Let me see here. Add. Okay. So we've added Tony to the thing. So Tony, it's ringing you, I'm sure. And we will wait for you to. But hold on a second. Let me go here. Let me see here. Where are we? Wait a minute. Here. Wait a minute. Where are we? 5. Okay, 5. Well, Tony, for some reason, is wound up in another position. Oh, well, what the hell? Somebody else call, and we can put one more person in there. Okay, Tony, why don't you let us see your whole face? You always,
I don't want to scare you too much.
yeah, and then every now and then we have to keep reminding you that you have to, you know.
I know. I don't
whatever.
realize it sometimes.
Let me put you up in the number 4 position here. Hold on a second. For a moment, folks, you're going to see 2.
You promised that position to Scott, and I think he was very happy.
Number 5.
Yeah.
Number
I'll
5.
go to 3.
Let me put in Tony Quisp. There we go.
Clean up.
Okay, so
Right turn, clean up guy.
so
Right,
he's
Jack.
he's twice, and we won't have. There we go. We won't have Tony down there. So there we go. Now I got them all looking nice. Still a little bit of trouble here, folks, but you know I got a thing from somebody at Skype. And I complained about, you know, the problem that we're having in getting people online. And he said, well, first of all, make sure you have the latest version of Skype. And not only do I have the latest version of Skype, I've got the a new one that's, and by the way, I'm out of sync now, folks, so just get used to it. That's the old machine. Okay, I'll just put my hand over my mouth, and then nobody will see that I'm. Yeah. Anyway, so where were we? So anyway, so these people.
You talked to the guy at Skype.
The people at Skype. So I talked to the guy at Skype. Okay, and the guy at Skype says to me, Alex, or Mr. Schwarzman, or whatever he called me. He said. Do you have the latest version? And I said, I've got the latest version. And then he said, make sure all your people have the latest version. And maybe you should ask them all to reinstall it. And I'm going, I had 10 people on a couple of nights ago and had trouble with every single one of them. Okay? So what do you expect? I can't do any more than that.
I'm on the latest version.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm on the latest
Me
version.
too.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so this guy his first idea was wrong.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, we're all on the latest version.
Alex isn't missing.
It's interesting that I'm out of sync and all you guys aren't.
Yeah,
I should just do away with my picture altogether. And
Yeah.
huh?
Put the flag in there.
Huh? What?
Put the flag in there, the GabNet flag.
Put the GabNet flag in there? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I should just to hell with it. No, you don't need to see me anyway. But the reason
I have news for you. Everybody that watches for you, not for us.
Well, the reason I'm out of sync is because this machine doesn't have the same power that the other one does. But the other one, of course, doesn't have the power to stay on for a long amount of time. So, I'm taking it down tomorrow, and I got these pieces of paper, a volume of notes of some of the readings. Okay, and they say that, well, sometimes these panic errors or whatever are the result of a bad software or bad peripherals or whatever. So last night when I was through here, I installed the old cheese grater here, which, thank God for it. And I've cleaned it out so it's silent. You can't even hear it. I can't even hear it. Sometimes I think it's off. Anyway, and I took the other machine into the other room, right, with no peripherals and no apps on, and it crashed.
Oh, shit.
Take your iPhone
Yeah.
and video a crash, you can show them, hey, it's sitting here, look.
No, I would have to wait for that, Phil, because
I don't think you'd have to wait very long.
No, this afternoon it was happening about every 5 minutes, and then now it's not doing it at all. But I took off all the apps, I took off everything. The only thing running was the machine. So I want them to tell me, oh, I bet it's an app or something like, no, it's not. And this machine didn't do this until you guys repaired it and replaced all this shit. I would say it's probably the CPU's off. There's something wrong with the CPU that they put in there.
And they changed that.
Yeah, but just because it's a new CPU doesn't mean it's a good CPU. It could have gone bad immediately. And this started happening just a few days after I got the machine. So,
yeah.
So everybody's going, well, why? Maybe they'll just give you a new refurbished one,
I thought that.
Yeah, well, that may be their solution eventually, But please turn up the volume, Alex. My volume. What? My volume?
I was just seeing that. I'm going to go listen and see if I can't hear you, but you're fine here on Skype.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, the Skype is fine.
Yeah, and when I talk, I look up here and... let me see here. It's not. That's
your
not
VU meter.
No, that's not it. No. I'm going through.
No, you sound fine.
Well, I don't know. Richard Lee says, "Please turn your volume up, Alex." And my volume is fine. I think. If it isn't, I don't know. I give up. There's part of me that's going, I think maybe I need to take a month off. Just stop this for a while. Just backtrack and just decompress, because today I was in such bad shape I could barely walk down to the store. I was so tired. I was so out of it, from all this crap that's been going on.
Stress.
Yeah. And do I need it? Megan Belknap says, sounds good. Thank you very much. Richard, get some ears. Alex, on TuneIn, my volume is all the way up and I can't hear you. Well, that's
tell them to go on the Gabnet site.
Tell them to go to YouTube. It's fine.
Yeah. I'm watching it on the Gabnet site, and you just click on the thing, and I muted. Yeah. I went over to the other computer. I listened. It sounded fine.
Yeah, but anyway, so I'm out of sync. I'm about 4 seconds behind now. And it's funny, at the end of the show, if I go to my camera, I'm way out of sync, and then as soon as I hang up on you guys, I'm fine. So it's all, because this machine, the trouble is, I'll tell you what the trouble was. When Skype went to their new system, we had to do this in a way that we didn't have to do it before, that was more intensive. And the fact that just Skype itself being on and causing me to go behind and be off, out of sync, seems to say to me that Skype built a very unreliable system. In other words, it uses up too much power, too much CPU power out of a machine.
How much are you using on the grader?
On the grader, I'm using at 34%.
All right, so that's 3 times as much as you use on the other.
Yeah, but what
one.
I'm saying is that I think it's the Skype. And now, why is it like I'm taking the Skype picture people are seeing of me is off Skype as well. So so I don't know why I'm out of sync. Am I out of sync to you guys?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the point.
On Skype, you are, yeah.
Yeah. You see, so. And if I use my regular camera, I'm even more out of sync. So I give up. You know, how do we solve this?
If I put you in a little circle, I can't see your lips, so that's fine.
Oh, good. Well, if I go like this, wait a minute. If I go like this and just talk like
I
this,
I just brought Charlie down. I can see Charlie. Everything's just fine. So keep going.
But anyway, so these idiots over at Skype are going, like, have your people, like, all make sure they're upgraded and have them completely get rid of it out of their machine and put it back. And I said, there are 10 of these people. I shouldn't have every one of them get a thing saying they don't have enough bandwidth, you know? There's something, you know, the problem with,
no fair.
Yeah, and then he'll start talking about Trump and lose the complete awe factor. Anyway, the point is that companies like Microsoft refuse to admit they're wrong. They refuse to admit they have a problem, and they do, but they refuse to admit it. And this is an obvious problem they have, because it wasn't this way till they upgraded last week.
Yep.
You know, so we all know that. Like, it's just like with my machine I'm going to take in tomorrow. If they give me any shit about it, hey, this thing worked perfectly except that the display card went out. It worked perfectly without rebooting itself or anything before I gave it to you guys. And when you went down and put a whole bunch of stuff in and it came back, now it's doing this. What do you think's causing it? I mean, what's the logical thing to believe is causing it? And the fact is that Skype will not believe that, hey, we upgraded and we probably fucked some people over. Here's what you should do to make sure all your people are, yeah, right, I'm going to write each of you a note and tell you to reinstall it when you've already installed the fucking thing. You know? Yeah. So, anyway, what are you looking at, Scott?
Oh, I'm just listening to you guys. You just put me in a little circle so you don't have to see.
Well, no, I'm
just doing some work.
Well, you're not. You're never in the little circle on the show.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot about the Skype or the YouTube thing.
Yeah. But I'm exhausted. I mean, I almost didn't do a show tonight. I wasn't going to do a show tonight, and then all of a sudden I get a note from Damien that he had a tooth root canal today and he can't do the show. So I'm going, well, I guess I better do one. So there's something on here tonight, you know. But I mean, I was just, you know, I mean, I love this little cheese grater of mine, and I got to tell you, this would work just great if it weren't for the new Skype. It would be just perfect. In fact, I used to be able to use this other machine. I can't use it, the PC, because it doesn't have enough power. To take it all, because what it did the last time when we used that is it started making the YouTube feed choppy. At least the YouTube feed isn't choppy here, you know. So.
Yeah, it looks good.
Well, yeah, it looks
Do you
great.
think the old Mini does it have more or less power than the cheese grater?
It has less power than cheese grater.
Okay, because it was dual core and fast.
The cheese grater is 8-core.
Oh, okay.
Okay. They call it a cheese grater, folks, because it has holes. And you could probably, if you wanted to, grate cheese on it.
Yeah, you did before you blew out all that dust.
Yeah. And I may call this new computer the plant holder, because if they can't fix the fucking thing, I'm putting dirt in the top of it and putting a plant in it.
Well,
I think
like I said on Jack's show last night, maybe you should throw it in the trash can.
Yeah.
They'll give them satisfaction on it.
I'm sure Apple will do right by us, but the problem is getting it settled. I know it's something they did that caused this problem. There's some part they put in that isn't doing what it should be doing. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know what that is, but it's not doing it. And that's why it keeps rebooting, why it goes into this, what they call kernel panic or something. as I say, I had to do the kernel panic without any programs running, without any peripherals attached to it. You know.
Can you run it in safe mode and it's still?
It'll run in safe mode, but I can't run a lot of programs in safe mode. I don't think I could run OBS, the thing that switches the show. I don't think I could use that. You know?
Yeah. Well, if you deleted all the programs off of there and just put the operating system in, does that allow it to crash?
I have no idea. I'm not about ready to do that. Why would I do that?
Well, because then you could see if it was a software issue or not.
Well, it's obviously not a software issue. Because I didn't have any software loaded into the goddamn thing except for the operating system.
Oh. Okay. Well, that's what I was asking you, if you took everything off of it.
I tried it. I finally just made sure I didn't have anything running. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Except for that.
And it crashed.
And it crashed. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was asking.
I think that kind of shows you where it's at. Okay? All right? But anyway, so that was my problem for tonight. And I'm exhausted today. I had to take another pill last night to get to sleep. I didn't get to sleep till 3 in the morning. Got up at 10. You know, I got to get everything to work, and it's hard to get it all working. You know, and all I want is a machine that works nicely. I can just come on here at night and I just press the button and I do a little show. You know. And let you guys talk and have a good time and all of that. But you know, it's just it just makes it rough on me. And I'm not a young man. Okay, let's be honest. And if I were younger, I think this would be driving me nuts.
Yeah, you know, I was looking at Joe Biden today. You look a lot younger than him. He's starting to age.
I think Biden's looking pretty long in the tooth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe think.
Huh?
Maybe he'll drop out then.
No.
He'll just keep writing his positions on the palm of his hand, so he can look and see what his position is today.
Well,
luckily, right now it's still standing.
That goes for any politician. But I'll tell you, something I got to tell you, and you'll like this.
Politicians include Arnold Schwarzenegger, John F. Kennedy.
I didn't say.
That worked.
Oh, was that Alexa?
Yeah.
But I didn't say her name, okay? And she just started blurting that out.
Schwarzenegger?
Echo, shut the fuck up.
Just wanted to be part of the panel.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. Anyway, I wish there were a way I could turn that off during a certain time. You know, I can turn it off, but I mean, just turn it off, have it turn off automatically. But anyway.
I was in a customer's house the other day, and she says, "Alexa, turn on the lights," and lights came on. She has special bulbs. It was pretty cool.
Oh,
yeah, well, you know how
you just go like this.
Well, actually, it is kind of an advanced version of the clapper, is it not?
Yeah.
But no, I have how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Alexas in this house.
Mm.
So anywhere I am, I can put something on a shopping list.
Yeah, you know. That's important.
Yeah, wait, you remember how you used to write it on the refrigerator?
Yeah, I make a list sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So I just say, Alexa, add such and such to my shopping list. The reason she isn't reacting is because that's not the word we use here.
Yeah.
Because that sounds too much like Alex, and then that would really cause problems.
Yeah.
You know. So,
yeah.
Whatever. I wish. You know what I like? What I do like is on the iPhone, you can actually make your iPhone respond to you with any name you want. So for a while there, I had it just calling me asshole. You know.
You weren't an asshole.
what do you want from me, asshole? You know, so you can put in any word you want, but you can't do that on Alexa. But, anyway, did you hear about Jeff Bezos, by the way, that he's announced he's sending a rocket to the moon by 2024?
Who was it that had the blue rocket?
That's it. That's Bezos. Yeah, that's Bezos. He's going to be the.
Was he the one that also said he wanted to set up people living on? Was it the moon or Mars?
That might be.
Somebody said
that was Musk.
That was
Elon Musk.
Yeah. Everybody's got a different program of what they want to do. I think it'd be great if Amazon sends a rocket to the moon. It won't be on a Sunday.
You imagine what the delivery charge would be, and do you get free delivery if you're Prime?
yeah, but I'm saying, it won't on
Sunday. Yeah,
on
never
Sundays.
on Sunday.
They won't deliver on Sundays unless you.
Yeah, they deliver out here.
Oh, they do deliver on Sunday out there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then here was the other thing that went wrong yesterday. I have this thing, this RAID, right, and I put in a less than significant drive in it because one of the drives was going bad. So I ordered another drive, and I couldn't. I put it on the caddy, and I tried to put it in. It wouldn't fit in. It wouldn't go in. And then I noticed that I had ordered, and I didn't know there was this difference, an SAS drive instead of a SATA drive.
Yeah.
So now I had to send this thing back to get my money back on that and order a SATA drive, which, by the way, was about $50 cheaper. So,
Well, the problem's going to be that Amazon's going to drop you from their customer list because you returned an item. If you return too many things, they deem you to be a bad customer.
This isn't actually out of Amazon. It is through Amazon, but it was through a third party. So when it's through a third party, you have to send it back to them, and they then have to credit your credit card. And Amazon doesn't do it. That's why whenever I buy something from Amazon, I try to see that it's available for Amazon Prime, because then I get all the perks. If I don't like it, I just send it right back. And as a matter of fact, here's the best thing. I sent back something the other day because it was
Marjorie?
No, it was a book I didn't like. It was a wife I didn't like. No, it was a book I didn't like. And I go down to UPS and I give them the book, right? I give them the package and everything, and they swipe it and everything. I get back within an hour. I've got a thing saying, "Okay, we've given you a refund," because they got word that it was on its way back.
Yeah.
So they're even faster than saying, "Well, we got to wait till it gets to us before we can give you your money back."
Yeah, I received something damaged the other day, and the only recourse I had was to bring it to the Amazon bookstore, which is around the corner from me. But they actually have a bookstore, like Barnes and Noble had a bookstore.
I never could figure out. I could never figure out why Amazon did that, because if you took a hint from
Barnes and Noble,
that don't work too well,
Yeah, it didn't work. But you know what? I really like Barnes and Noble. I used to like to go there, sit down, have a cup of coffee, buy a magazine or a book. And just
why? Because you're old-fashioned and you're an old fart, and you like that sort of thing, and you like. I
used to go there.
What?
I used to go there too, because they used to get all the video game magazines. You couldn't get that by me, or the movie magazines. Yeah. I used to read them a lot and then return them back to the thing. Now I used to buy one.
Well,
I used to look for the
aren't the magazines you look at all wrapped in plastic and you can't open them?
The only time I got that magazine when Alex wrote the article for that. Remember you wrote the article for Bruce?
For Hustler.
Hustler, yeah. I actually bought that one. Well, I had to go on to
what do you mean that one? I wrote for him every month.
I know, but I remember there was a certain article in there that you wrote in that I wanted to read. You were talking about it on Sirius.
Oh.
And I told you I went to get it. I had to hide it from my mother.
I started out by writing articles for them, and then I wound up writing a monthly column, which now that I remember lasted about 6 years, something like that.
Yeah, you were writing a lot, Alex, on there.
Mm-hmm. Not about sex. Everybody wondered, oh, as Hustler magazine, what are you writing about? Sex? No, that wasn't. That wasn't my intention. So anyway, so we got Jeff Bezos sending rockets to the moon.
Kim Jong-un is sending rockets, but it didn't go that far.
Yeah. Well, supposedly they say he's not violating any laws because it didn't go that far.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is,
I think
we took his ship today, his biggest cargo ship, which had a coal on it.
Yeah.
Was in the waters near American Samoa, and we seized it.
And where was he going to? It was going to, I think, Iran.
Malaysia or something.
Iran, I think, maybe.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But it was a violation of the embargo, and they seized the ship. Now, it's going to be interesting the next couple of days.
You know, I wonder, you know, we go around telling people they can't do business with people. And what right do we have to do that outside of just saying we don't like these people and we don't want you doing business with them? You could ask a favor maybe of another country and say, we hope you won't do business with them. But to say, hey, we're going to seize the ship because it was trying to go against the embargo we have against them? What else are they going to do?
Well, it's not only us, it's the UN embargo.
Yeah, well, I just, you know.
It sounds like piracy to me.
It sounds like piracy. Yeah. Okay, here comes Patrick Blazik, and I'm sure it's going to say missed. Yeah. Now I have to go here, and I go to Patrick Blazik, and I go add Patrick Blazik, and I'm ready to go to put him up here so he can put me even more out of sync than I am already.
Yeah, but it fills the screen.
Yeah, let me see here. I think, there he is. Okay, let me see here. Darth Pat is what it is. There it is, Darth Pat. Okay. All right. Okay, let me see here. Come on. Oh, I forgot to do that. Okay, there we go. Now we got him. There's Patrick. Hello, Patrick.
Hi.
See? Everybody else is in sync except for me. Isn't that amazing? No, wonderful. Oh, well, who cares? Oh, wait a minute. Somebody else is calling. Oh, you know.
New screen.
You know what it is? It's Tim. And I like you, Tim, but, you know, I hate the idea.
You don't have to change the screen for a phone call.
I'm not going to add him to the screen. That's right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, just add him to the thing, but not the screen.
And let's see. He doesn't go through either, so then I got to go here, and then I got to go.
I see him.
Here. Wait a minute. Tim? You see Tim?
No, I see his phone.
No, yeah. I don't. Oh, Tim Albright. Here we are. Tim Albright. Okay. I'll add Tim. Okay. Tim, are you there? Tim?
The citizen that remains unseen.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep you unseen. It does, you know.
He's in witness protection.
I didn't say unseemly. Unseen.
Yeah. We'll keep you unseen, as it were, since it's better that way anyway. When are you going to get yourself a camera and a phone, huh?
It's got a phone.
I'm working on it, but we usually have people going in and out of the room, and we've been babysitting, so. When that's over with, probably I'll get everything set up.
Yeah, but it's not. It can't be as much fun for you either because we don't see you raise your hand, you know, and you have to get your words in edgewise, and you know, it can't.
It's a conspiracy.
Well, I feel like I'm calling in on Sirius, and I actually got through.
Yeah.
You mentioned Sirius. I signed up for Sirius the other day. And I hadn't used I have a radio that was Sirius ready, and they put some sort of adapter on it so you could actually get it. So it would cut out, just like your Mac. It was cutting out like every 15 seconds. You couldn't even listen to the music. So after a bunch of troubleshooting, I went back to where I bought it, and the guy says, "Oh, it's the antenna." So they fixed the antenna. Well, it turns out that Sirius satellite isn't as good as it used to be 5 or 6 years ago when I had it before, because you know you go under an overpass, it's gone.
Well,
it
was always that way. I was up in the Sierra Nevada, or maybe I was up north, up near Mendocino. That's where I was, and I was traveling through a forest, and I had Sirius satellite radio in the car, and of course I couldn't get it because the trees were covering it, and you could, you know.
Yeah,
in
it's
fact,
the slightest.
here's the downside. Here's what they don't tell you. If you live in New York City, it's you subscribe to Sirius satellite radio. You know what you're getting?
Terrestrial.
Terrestrial. It's a terrestrial
Really?
signal that they have. They have repeaters on the ground in many major cities so that you can get it because the buildings would prevent you from getting the satellite.
That's the way Slingbox used to work.
Yeah. So.
So you know, now they adjusted the antenna, but it's still not that good. I mean, it's much better just to stream something.
Why did you get Sirius?
I have the radio that works with it, and finally they offered me for $60 for a year of Sirius. And
that's $5. That's $5 a month.
A month, right? And I'm just so tired of listening to the talk shows, whether it's right wing, left wing. You know, it's the same thing. It sounds like Gabnet. So I said, well, maybe I'd like to listen to Cousin Brucey. Well, Cousin Brucey is not from this century anymore. He is so old, and his voice has gone. I don't know if you've listened to him.
Yeah,
you know, 60s on 6, but he does not have a voice anymore, and he can't remember the word cousin. So you know,
he has a hairpiece that's older than I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He's you know, he's been on for since the 50s, I think, right?
Huh? Yeah.
The mid 50s is when he started in radio.
I get. No, I don't know.
WINS. Well, anyway, you know, his voice, it's shot. You know, and because I haven't listened to Sirius Satellite in 5 or 6 years. After I bought this car, it came with Sirius for a year, and I let it expire, and that was it. And they've been sending me cards ever since. Mm-hmm. And now I just decided I am tired. You know, it sounded pretty good 5 or 6 years ago, and it's not what it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, does anybody have Spectrum?
Spectrum.
No,
I don't know. Oh, Spectrum is like Comcast, right? It's a provider.
We just were told that they're going to have their own TV show, original content starting in the middle of the month.
Oh.
So is that horizontal or vertical expansion?
Mm-hmm.
That's vertical.
And there's a newscast that's on locally on the Spectrum on the cable network. I think it's channel 1 for me. And every time I turn the television on, it's on that station. So wherever I left off, it goes back to this new news station. So that's the newest that I've heard of any programming. And it's mostly local. I haven't really watched it to see if there's any canned stuff. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's a new thing now. So
Scaramucci is negotiating to change that to the Trump TV channel, but it'll take him a few more months.
What the Trump TV channel?
So Trump would love to have a channel with that. When you turn your TV on, that's the first show that shows up. He would love it.
Yeah. Okay.
But
he's got it. It's called Gabnet.
That's true. It's called Fox News. Most restaurants and bars run Fox News.
Well, yeah, I guess. You know, I listen. I'm telling you right now. Let me get that Sirius, not Sirius, but that Skype off of there. See, that's the trouble. When you start talking, Skype's logo comes up, and I hate to give them any free advertising. God knows I have them in every corner of every picture that I can't get rid of.
Well, you know, I noticed it was when it was full screen, the Skype logo came up for Tim. Why is that? If he's not part of that program that you're moving it over to?
Well, because he's doing it by phone, and so they automatically put a Skype logo in there.
I wonder why it's showing up on the YouTube.
Well, because whenever he starts talking, that comes up. That's why I hate people calling using the phone. Yeah, it's not as much
Kill
fun.
the phone number.
Huh?
You know, he could call using. Oh no, even if he called using Skype and he didn't have his
I have to
picture,
I have to have a phone number for him to be able to call. So
yeah.
But I mean, I could do away with the phone number. I mean, I pay $3 a month for that, which is half of what you pay for Sirius.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But I get to hear Cousin Brucey.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Lucky you.
Well, he's more cognizant than Biden. You know, I mean,
what's happening here in New York is it's been announced that I think May 29th is the last day for WPLJ to be on the air here in New York. And
are you going? Did you go, or are you going?
No, on the 21st. There's a gathering on the 21st. I'm going. The only thing is, the only reason I didn't want to go was I was probably one of the first guys on WPLJ. Okay. And then they went to New York's Greatest Music or whatever format. And that's what they kind of became known as the music station. When I started out, they were known as kind of a progressive oddball station in which I did a morning show on a music station, okay, doing talk, all right? And then I went on overnight doing talk. It was progressive music and all of that. So that's what we did. And then all of a sudden it started going to New York's Best Rock, and it started having a formatted music and all of that. And it wasn't the inventive station that I joined, okay? So basically, everybody there is going to be people from that era.
How do you know that?
Because the people from my era are dead.
Well,
John
at least they can
Zackerley's
march you out
dead.
and say, "Look, we got one."
That's terrible.
Herman is dead. Zachary is dead. Who else is dead? Is Carol Miller dead? She wasn't on.
Yeah, I was going to say, is Carol Miller alive? So I think she is.
I think she is, but I don't know if she was on with us. She wasn't on with us. No.
I used to call her.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah.
You should go dressed as Beetlejuice.
Why?
They would get it then.
They would? Okay. Well, anyway, so I don't feel I'm going to have anybody to talk to. So the only reason I'm going is because Albert's going. Because Albert worked at the station at one point,
Are you going to stream it live?
No. Why? What do I want to show? A bunch of wrinkled old radio people?
That's what are they going to do with the station? It's just going.
It's going to religious music.
Oh,
now there's a format New York really needs.
Now it'll make money.
Huh?
And now it'll make money.
Yeah, I guess. How you doing, Eddie? You haven't said anything tonight, so let's say hello to Eddie Jordan.
Hi. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Anything new and exciting in your life?
Not really. It's just my work schedule is why I didn't log on last week, because we alternate.
Yeah.
410s or 5/8s, and last week was 410s, so it was a little late for me.
Oh, okay.
What do you do, Eddie?
I work in oil refinery.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah.
But you get enough time off to go to Thailand?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm a contractor, so I usually have a few months off a year.
Yeah.
Which works for me.
It's good.
So, what do you do in Thailand? When you're there, you just hang out, or what's Thailand offer for an American?
Well, my wife's family lives there, so that's why I go up to Pitsanulok, and this last trip we went down to Jomtien Beach and rented a house there for a few days, and just played tourist,
Yeah. Does Thai food taste like it does here? Like Chinese food, I believe, I've never been to China, but Alex says that the Chinese food is different than what we get here. Is Thai food made for Americans here and it's different in Thailand?
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
It's not as spicy as it is in Thailand.
No, in Thailand, it's very spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
spicy, and especially if you get away from, you get further away from Bangkok, you have a lot more fried bugs and spiders and stuff like that.
Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy.
Yeah.
Well, it's protein.
Yeah.
I guess.
Calories can a roach.
So listen, I want
you burn it off catching them though.
Yeah. Why? We have a lot of people watching tonight. Why? They're waiting for, you know what they're doing? They're watching the show because they're waiting for it to go bad. That's what they're doing. They love nothing more than to watch me in a flop sweat. But anyway.
That's why I called in. I do want to see it go bad too.
I'll tell you. I got to tell you, and I know that I'm out of sync, folks. So please excuse me. I just put my hand up, and then it's about let's see here, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4, almost 4 seconds behind on my picture. Everybody else is fine, and I'm running the picture that I have going out over Skype. So I don't know, but anyway, forget it. Don't watch what I'm saying. Okay. I fell asleep with MSNBC on today because I was exhausted, and it was on, and so I kind of heard it, while you're asleep, and I finally, when I woke up, said, I can't take this shit anymore. I cannot take this constant, incessant droning of them having a format called all Trump all the time.
Sign up for Sirius, and for $60 you can get Cousin Brucey.
Yeah, right. But Trump all the time. That's all they were talking about. Trump this, Trump Jr., this person, that person. Oh, it's a congressional crisis, constitutional crisis. It's a this, it's a that. Now, hey, I'm as left as you can get, but quite frankly, I find that network a fucking bore.
I agree.
Am I wrong?
Yeah, I can't watch it.
I can't watch it anymore either. I think
I can't watch any of them anymore.
I'm tired of the whole taxes too.
I'm ready for a Trump-free zone.
Enough of the fucking taxes already with Trump.
Well, no,
he doesn't have to show his taxes.
Yes, he does.
It's not in the law.
Yes, he does.
Yes,
he does. Look, if I've got to show my taxes to rent an apartment, then he goddamn well should be able to show his taxes to be president of the United States. The reason we need to see his taxes is to make sure he has no interest in other things that would compromise his presidency.
But they said it's not against the law.
No, that doesn't matter. What it matters is it's against the law to have investments which you're then voting your best interest on and getting things done in your own best interest, and we don't know what your own best interests are.
Right.
Yeah. He has the power to be the
vote?
Huh?
Does he vote on anything?
No, it isn't a question.
Divested either.
I thought it was the Congress and the Senate that votes on stuff.
What'd you say, Tim?
He couldn't do it anyway. It's a counterintelligence problem, whether he's in compromise, and his family never divested.
Right. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that forget about compromising. It is a fact that we should have to know what his interests are, because he is working his own best self-interest. When he says something wonderful about Russia, and then we find out he has a deal he was trying to make, or there was some loan he got from Russia, we have to ask whether that doesn't compromise the presidency. And we have a right as the public to know that. Yes, Eddie.
Yeah, he's in the position, or any president's in the position, to be the biggest insider trader in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Very good point. Very good point.
There's actually at one time,
no penalty.
They might have changed it, I'm not sure, but there was no law against insider trading by members of Congress. There was no law against they could do it, and they did do it.
Yeah.
That's how they all get rich. But I think they might have changed that.
They did change it.
I don't know. Did they?
Yeah.
Charlie? Okay.
Yeah, I think you can't do insider trading. I noticed, by the way, that Scott has on his screen, he has his blur on for the background. You really like that blur, don't you?
I don't want to see my other computer.
Here's what I don't get about the blur. And again, I'm out of sync. I apologize, folks. But you don't care. You don't mind, do you? On my machine here, I can't do the blur. Okay? It's just not on my Skype. I go over to another machine that has Skype, okay? And it doesn't do the blur. Then I go over to Marjorie's, and she has the same exact version of Skype that I'm running on another machine, and she has the blur.
What camera does she use, and what camera are you using? Are you using a separate camera?
The same exact camera I'm using right here.
Wow. So
I'm wondering, why do some people have the blur and other people don't have the blur? Now, I also have the preview version of Skype. I'm signed up where every time they upgrade Skype, when they're trying new stuff out on Skype, they upgrade to this this on preview, and I should be getting it, right? Wrong, not getting it.
You have the newest version?
Yes, I have the newest version. Yeah. Those fuckers. They refuse to admit they're wrong. They refuse to admit they fucked up. You know?
Know anybody else like that?
Huh? These companies, they refuse to admit when they're wrong. When they've made some kind of mistake. I don't know why. You know, I'm amazed at it. It's just ridiculous. What the hell?
Somebody's job. You know, they don't want to lose it.
Well, but I mean, to write me and tell me that I've got to do all this shit. No, you've got to do all your shit. Okay? You've got to do what you got to do to make your program work optimally and to my advantage. I shouldn't have to tell all my people, hey, well, listen, let's all hang up now and just unload the version you've got and then reload a new version in.
Did he ask you if you'd plugged in your machine?
Huh?
When he wrote you, did it sound like when you read it? Did it sound like it was in Indian?
Yeah, well, I don't know. Let me go get Charlene Martinez here now because of this fucked up thing of Skype.
Oh, Charlene's coming
in. Yeah. We'll
change the machine.
We'll bring Charlene in here, and we'll put her in the number 7 slot instead of that Skype picture. Let me see here. Where is Charlene? Charlene. Where is she? I can't find her. Let me see here. Oh, wait a minute.
I thought I wasn't allowed on, so I'm like befuddled here.
Yeah, but okay. What name do you use?
Is it like Chardonna, like an email, or?
No, I think it's this one, if I'm not mistaken. Is it that one? No, that's local Skype. No, that's not.
I see me. Okay.
Wait a minute. I can't find your name here. I got Tony.
I see her on the screen.
I got Ed. I got Charlie Wallace.
Charlie? I got. If anybody's naked, I think I'll see it.
Let me try it up here. Is that you? There. No. That's.
Charlene, what is your Skype handle? You know.
I think it's Charlene24, like what I had to sign in for.
Yeah.
Like I just found her. I just found her. You know what you are, Charlene? Listen to this. Listen to this. This is ridiculous. You're 3A. 1915 9A 6B 541FD. That's what
like
you are.
Beelzebub or something.
Okay, so that's your.
Now, you know what can happen?
Let me see here. Let me just
enter.
Huh?
That's her mobster name.
That's her mobster name.
I heard you say there's a way to go in and fix that. I should try to do that, right?
Probably.
Or get a different account.
Yeah.
No, I'd better try to edit the one I have. That would make it even more complicated to have too many accounts, right?
You can delete the.
I'll try to fix that. I'll try to go in and do it or something.
Yeah, but
I have a friend that can fix it or something.
Well, it's just a matter of changing your name there. That's all you got.
Trump had a fixer.
Huh?
And what should I do? Put like my name?
Got a lot of things.
Make it like Charlene Martinez. Like 158 or something.
Yeah.
Or whatever they'll make it 387 or.
Yeah, something like that. But
well, on my screen it has Charlene Martinez.
You know,
Yeah.
I'll tell you. I wanted to ask a question tonight because and it was a question we kind of asked the other night, and I think it's an important question to ask in this day and age. You know, we constantly, because I listen to these news outfits, and they're getting more and more boring and more self-serving, and you wonder what the American public considers to be the biggest, most important issues right now. And so I'd like to go around the panel here and ask you, what is the singularly you think most important issue we have to deal with today? And forget about saying, you know, honest government and whatever, because that's nebulous. I'm talking about, you know, problems that we have that it won't wait till next week to fix. We got to start fixing them now. Okay? So let's start with Charlie. Charlie?
Well, it's either climate change or it's the women's rights. Either one of them. I mean, they're gonna make women wear chastity belts and stuff by the time they get done.
Yeah. Okay, so you're
They'll
saying
just cut your dick off
okay,
like
but
they did the
let's try and be a little more specific. You got to pick one of those two. Which do you think is the most important?
It would have to be climate change because it's gonna kill the human race in 50 years if we don't do something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Eddie?
Well, I was going to say the abortion issue, the way it's so many more restrictions are coming up these days on something that was settled a long time ago.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't even think that one was on the list, but I'm glad you brought it up. Phil?
Right now, I think it's North Korea. You know, we're at an impasse, and you know, I don't know if he's suicidal, but it's not good. I think if we're going to look at something that is affecting us today, North Korea might be.
If you're looking at something that has to be solved today, I mean, you'd put that there. I mean, I would disagree with you that North Korea is on the list. I think North Korea is a problem, and I think it has to be dealt with, and it has to be dealt with adroitly, and but not by, you know, going.
Well, we won't have to worry about climate change if you know, we don't solve this issue with North Korea.
You see, I would. Why'd that just go bloop? Somebody tried to call, I think, or something. I don't know. Oh, we're going out, and we still got Skype. Oh, here we go. Oh, mail delivery system warning. Oh, something was. Oh, forget that. Days ago, I answered an email from one of my hosting services. Oh, Be Free. Be Free, which is Bree, says that he says climate change. Anyway, I don't know that Kim Jong-un is that dangerous a factor, because if he ever tries to act up and do something like lob a missile at the west coast of the United States, what is that?
Tony, you got your window open?
Sounds like a missile.
What the hell is that?
It's North Korea.
Imagine he's shooting him again.
What the hell was that?
Kim Jong-un.
That's scary. Kim Jong-un is a problem, but if he ever tried to lob a missile over here, we'd intercept it before it got here, and then his country would be burnt toast within hours.
What if he lobbed it on the South Korea?
On South Korea, he'd still be nothing but charred toast.
So would South Korea. I mean, you know, those are our allies, and it would spark. I think it would spark something even greater. You know, possible world war.
I don't think that with the kind of missile power we have, and what they're capable of, that they could last very long in any kind of a conflict against us.
You think China would stand by?
I think
North Korea.
China would not involve themselves in a war. Okay, they're not ready to do that. I don't think. But anyway, we're getting in. I'll accept that you think that that's the biggest problem. I don't. agree with you. That's the biggest problem. Scott, you're up.
I agree with the other guys that climate change is the most important thing to my children. It's not going to affect me at all, I don't believe, but it's my children it's going to affect. As another side note, I think they need to get all the religious kooks out of the government, the Senate and the Congress, and get to the business of running the government and not being, separating
church and state.
Church and state, I guess, is what it's called. I think that would solve a lot of problems.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Tony? What's the big issue right now?
My big issue, and it's the only issue I really think that always bothered me, would be single payer health care. Mm-hmm. And they have to get that right. I think it'll solve a lot.
So it would be healthcare in general.
Yes, healthcare for all.
Yeah.
Some kind of basic coverage that they come up with. They will put their heads in and they get their act together.
Well, we should also mention that it should be good health care. It can't just be cursory health care like, well, you got to go to the clinic and you got to get a doctor. Last week was doing abortions and this week is doing lancing pimples. You want.
If you get sick off a bit, I was listening to Ronnie the other day, your ex-wife. She had to go for a CT scan. Like, God forbid, say if I had cancer, I should be able to walk into Sloan and they should treat me without any questions.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Richest country in the world.
Greatest country in the world. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to worry about, I don't know if you're going to take my insurance. Is it out of network? Take my fucking thing. Come on, let's get the fucking ball going here.
Yeah, yeah. Patrick, what is the big issue?
Either North Korea or Iran.
Really, you're going along with the who's going to attack us deal, right?
Yeah, I mean, I look at North Korea and I look at Iran as issues that are beyond just the United States. I think they are world issues. Phil touched on it with North Korea. If they were to launch a missile, very true, Alec, we could intercept it. But then you create a possibility of a world war. You got South Korea there. And then in the Middle East, it's already a fucking hornet's nest as it is. And it's almost sort of maybe calm in comparison to what it's been in years, even though there's fighting going on. And you have Iran start some bullshit over there, and we have to respond. It's gonna make it work. So I look at North Korea and Iran are the two biggest issues that not only the United States but the world is facing. Mm-hmm. So I feel worried about climate change. So
yeah. Okay, well, we'll get to you in a second, Tim. I'm going to Charlene next. Charlene?
Oh, thank God nobody took this, and I hope it's a viable topic or whatever. I'm going to say gun control.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
Okay, thank God no one took it.
Well, I think each and every day that we have another one of these incidents, it becomes more and more.
Alex, every day this week.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing I saw? I forget where it was, but they went into a house or something, and there was like an arsenal in there again. They had like rifles, and I mean, it was amazing what they took out.
The Getty Mansion in Bel Air.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing that the cache or whatever it was. I mean, they had so many rifles and things. It was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I thought Getty lived on Broadway in San Francisco. Yeah. Does he also live in Bel Air?
One of their other houses.
Yeah. Okay, Tim, you're up. What is this?
Well, I got a conspiracy theory to throw in for Patrick. That the trouble with Iran, they're saying is, I don't know if I believe them, that Iran's trying to move their missiles or their arsenal around on ships. Did anybody see The Brink? On The Brink, the HBO show with Jack Black? That one of the themes in there was Iran and North Korea were working behind the scenes, and together they were quite able, because Iran had the money, and the North Korea didn't. They were behind the scenes building this great arsenal of nuclear weapons. So watch out. But, my major concern is climate change. Okay. I would also modify that to include pollution, because clean air and clean water, not to mention the Roundup we're exposed to.
That's all pretty much in the same wheelhouse, I would say.
Right, but I think you need to remind people it's not just we're worried about it getting warm. Our children and us are breathing in nasty air.
Well, yes, Charlene, she has her hand up.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to add before the climate change. Next week, it's supposed to rain like it has this week. So there's definitely something going on, and I think that we have to do something.
Well, I don't know if that's evidence of anything, Charlene, but we do know that there are things happening to this planet overall that are not boding well for the future. And it's young people right now who are yelling and screaming about climate change and who are saying we got to do something about climate change because they realize realize they're going to have to live with it. And if they're not going to live with it, it's for sure that their children that they're going to have are going to really have to live with it.
We have 12 years, or is it 11 years?
Well, what they're saying is 100 years from now, we may not have a habitable planet. That's what they're saying, okay? So if you say that, then you say that some kid who's now, 13 years old and yelling about this, maybe he'll be 20 when he, let's say, has kids, and those kids are going to live to be a certain age. It's going to be 100 years from now. They're going to have to deal with it. And that it's not getting any better, and anybody who thinks that it's not getting any better is really denying the future. And I don't give a shit. I'm not going to be here to see this devastation, okay? And neither are you, Phil, and neither are you, Charlie, and neither is anybody on this panel. Neither is Patrick, who's holding his hand up now, because this is one of the topics.
Does anybody think they might be reincarnated on the panel?
Who knows? Patrick, you've got your hand up. I know this is a topic you have feelings about.
Well, I just wanted to make an observation, not promote an argument on it. I find it interesting. You just said 100 years. I think Charlie said 50 years. Somebody, who it was, if it was Mayor Booty Kissed or whatever.
Booty Judge.
Was like 12 years, and then somebody else just said 10 years. So this is why I personally don't give a flying fuck about this topic, because I don't think anybody really knows what the fuck, when, how, or any of it, because we have the span of 90 years between what you said, Alex, and what, like I said, Mayor Booty Kissed or whatever.
Okay.
Said.
Wait a minute. First of all,
there's a difference. The 10 to 12 year period, 10 to 12 years, we're going to have extreme major disasters. It's going to create economic and it's going to create wars because people will be without things. The 100-year period is a point in time where nobody can live at all on this earth, and human beings will see.
That's why I said 100 years when life will be inhabitable here. When you go 50 years, you're saying things are going to be bad in 50 years, and you're saying in 12 years we're going to start seeing noticeable changes. Yes, Charlie has his fingers up.
Yeah, I was going to make that point. The 12 years will reach the point of no return. We won't be dying right away, but it'll be inevitable because you won't be able to reverse what happened. So that by 50 to 100 years in the future, the planet will be uninhabitable. The planet's still going to be here, but humans won't.
Patrick?
I've got a question then with Al Gore. From what I remember, because I saw part of his documentary.
An Inconvenient Truth.
By now, Miami was supposed to be underwater and part of the eastern seaboard. And I'm wondering what happened with that. And that's another reason I don't buy into this as being proof positive science, because he was predicting it back in the 90s that by now all of this would have happened, and he's off by like 20 or 30 years at the best, even if he's right. So what the hell?
Miami does have the ocean coming inland.
Yeah, high
fairly
tides.
often,
It
several
floods
times a
now.
year. It floods now, and they had to build barricades.
Yeah, but here's the thing. There are so many hotels going up in the Miami area. Do you think developers would be stupid enough to be putting multi-million-dollar buildings up if they were fearful that their investment were going to be gone in a very short period of time? I can't imagine anybody would.
Because the developers get their money and then they get out.
Yeah.
They get the money and they get out. Trump gets his money up front. He doesn't require the building to maintain itself.
Florida swampland, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Governor Inslee had a good answer for all the critics of climate change, because the corporations and the industrials, it's too much money to do this. And actually, it's going to create jobs. But anyway, it's too much money. We can't afford the new Green New Deal. Well, then he says, how are they going to pay for Paradise, California, and then the major flooding that was in the Midwest? How are they going to pay for the billions of dollars to that damage?
Okay, Charlene just froze up, which means, well, there, Charlene, are you there?
She's frozen, sort of.
Yeah, she's frozen.
No, well, Charlene.
I see her eyes opening like every 5 seconds. They're just getting wider.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a bandwidth thing.
Yeah. Oh boy. Oh well. Charlene, are you there? Can you hear us? No, I guess we can't hear her. But what happens is that when we do this program, and people are talking to us, and then all of a sudden they aren't talking to us, or they freeze up, or they hang up, or the bandwidth goes bad. Their picture still stays there. Like Charlie the other night, I guess, was there for, for like a half hour, just.
In spirit, I was there in spirit.
Yeah.
Hey, in Houston, is it Houston today that they're having floods? Kings something, Texas, is that near where Scott is? Kings. Scott got off, but there's massive
Wait a minute,
flooding.
did Scott get off?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay, because you see, he's frozen here, so I don't. Yeah. So let me see here. I'm going to make some changes here so that we get rid of Charlene and we get rid of. But go ahead anyway, as you were. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just surprised that I meant to ask Scott about this place. It sounded like it was near where he was, but they're having a lot of problems in Texas right now with flooding, and they're saying that it was worse than the last one. When you mentioned Paradise, it made me think of what's going on in Texas right now.
Yeah, all the softball games this week in Austin have been rained out. It's been raining all week.
Yeah. Well, okay, there we go. So I got rid of Charlene, and I got rid of Scott because they weren't there, and all I got was frozen person. Anyway, my answer would be the climate, and it's only because I see it as it's something we have to attend to today to make sure it doesn't happen tomorrow, and that's what. Oh, there's Charlene trying to get in. Charlene.
Yeah.
Charlene, I think maybe.
Testing.
Oh,
it's better now.
Oh, really?
Charlene, you got to pay your Skype bill.
Yeah, Charlene, are you there? Charlene, can you hear us? Charlene, can you hear us? You know what I should do? I probably should hang up on her.
Yeah.
And then that will make her either call back or give up, one or the other. So remove from call. Okay. So I removed her from the call. And if she wants to call back, we're more than happy to have her with us. That'd be very nice. So anyway, where were we? Oh, yeah. So
climate change.
Oh, yeah. So on the climate change question, I mean, we're really dealing with something that is a preeminent problem that we have to deal with today, I think, and that we can't deal with tomorrow. Because tomorrow is going to be too late, and we don't want it to get that way. We don't want it to get to that point. You know, so.
Hey, I got a bridge in Brooklyn.
There's a connection between climate. There's a connection between climate change and North Korea. Since we brought that up, they had the worst harvest in decades. They only get 11 ounces of food a day. The reason that Kim Jong-un shot missiles is he's got to do something. If they have another bad harvest next year because of climate change, he will have no choice but to start some kind of war. That's how climate change is a national security issue and can lead to war. And then you got India, and you won't even talk about India and Pakistan, who's all nuked up. So, as these major, if your population is going to die and you're going to lose everything, you'll go to war. And now I guess we're going to give them some food, but we confiscated their coal, so
so they can't cook it.
11 ounces a day.
Yeah. So
it's unbelievable.
Okay, let me see here. I think we have Charlene in the picture now. There we go. Okay, there we go. There's Charlene.
The Pentagon takes climate change very seriously. That should tell you something.
Yep.
Can I say what I was going to say, Alex?
Yeah, sure. Go right ahead.
Now, I saw a thing, and I apologize that I can't remember. Like, it was a show about Mexico, right? Now, Mexico City is built on a lake, and the Spaniards had aqueducts that they drew out the water from the lake to build Mexico City on it. Like, so there's like a problem in Mexico that it's going to be like Florida. They're going to end up underwater, they say. So when they were talking about Florida, it just jogged my memory. You know, you didn't see that or anything like that?
No, but I'm sure it existed. I have seen documentaries on something that's kind of interesting, and that is that water is saleable now in a lot of countries where people don't have water.
Mexico's the biggest user of water like that, yeah.
Yeah, and that there were certain countries that were in fact arresting people for capturing water in a bucket when it rained.
Yeah.
America. It's illegal in many states in the United States.
Where?
I'd have to look it up, but I know that it's illegal to capture rainwater. And let me look it. I'll find which states. I thought California was one of them. No,
like,
no
you know how Trump hates Mexico. If he waits long enough, they're going to be underwater anyway, right? Like with Florida.
Yeah. Scott is 300 miles from Houston. What does that mean? I just got a thing from Irv on my watch, that says that Scott is 300 miles from Houston. Is that why he hung up, or we lost him?
Oh, I didn't know the response to Phil's question about the rain and flooding.
Yeah. Did you find anything, Phil?
Yeah, Arizona, Colorado, Oklahoma, and Utah.
Really?
Yeah.
And why? How do they justify that law? Does it say?
Let me look. The question I asked was what states don't allow rainwater collection.
Yeah. But by the way,
well, here's one story. I'm still reading. He set up illegal dams and made his own reservoir.
Who was this?
To collect rain. So a guy got arrested in Oregon.
Oh, so he was collecting it to sell it.
He made man-made reservoirs with boat docks and boats, and stocked with fish from rainwater.
You know what I don't understand, and we haven't done this, but why haven't we done something about taking various waste materials and repurposing them into potable water? And why haven't we been able to take the seawater and make it potable and usable?
The Israelis have.
Yeah. But we haven't.
It's very expensive, though.
Is it very expensive?
Yeah, to take fresh water from seawater, you got to evaporate the water. Which takes a lot of energy.
Okay, but then you've also got salt left over too, don't you?
Yeah, but then they sell out to cities up north, so they can use it in the winter.
Right.
You can also use reverse osmosis. That works. Very expensive, though.
Yeah.
You basically have membranes that let the water through, but the salt molecules are too big, and it filters them out. But it's expensive, the equipment.
Here's what I never could quite figure out. I always had a theory. See, I mean, when you shit, what gas is produced when you shit? Methane. And methane can be turned into power, right?
Yeah.
How come we're letting you
strike a match?
Why do we flush this shit down the toilet and then it goes out into a pipe and then that goes somewhere else and who knows where it winds up, some sewage plant somewhere or something?
Yeah.
But we don't convert the methane into anything. And that could be used to create some forms of power. And therefore, the more people we have on the earth, the more power we have.
It's too expensive. They
I'm
have
telling you right now. I gave my mother a scroll of beans yesterday. She shit like crazy.
Yeah. But wait a minute.
We burn millions of cubic feet every second in Michigan from wells because it's too expensive to catch the natural gas out of the ground.
Yeah,
we're talking
they do it in Texas too.
Because it's just too expensive. So until you find a way to catch it, it's just crazy. But we're on the edge of developing fusion anyway.
In San Francisco, we used to have down the South Bay an outdoor theater. I can't remember the name of it now.
The rock things, Bill Graham's thing?
Yeah. What was the name of the place?
Yeah, what's it called? Starts with an S.
Shoreline Amphitheater?
Shoreline
Amphitheater. And what they had was this lawn. They had seats, and then there was a lawn behind it that people could sit on and watch concerts, right? But it was built over a garbage dump.
Oh my
God. One day, all of a sudden, people are sitting there watching the concert, and flames of fire come up from the lawn, and it was the methane had suddenly decided that it had ruminated enough under this lawn that it created, and it decided, and somebody I guess was smoking or lit a light, and literally the lawn caught fire.
Oh my God!
This rainwater stuff. Some states promote harvesting rainwater, like Hawaii, and then there are other states that, because of legislative issues, I think they just don't want you to do it. I don't think they have a good reason to not do it.
Well, the reason in certain parts of South America that they do it is because they sell that rainwater. They want to make money off of it, Yeah. And so they make it against the law, literally against the law. You're considered stealing if you put a bucket out and it's raining and you let it fill with water and then you use it to drink.
So they in Colorado, they say it's an injury to water rights. And the water board. You remember we watched that movie Chinatown. That was all about water rights. And
of course we know what the water board is about. That's something that Trump probably agrees with doing.
No, that's a Bush thing.
It's a Bush thing. Okay. Yeah. By the way, let me throw a few more quick items out here because we only got a couple of minutes. Do you ever remember a guy by the name of Matt Lauer?
Yeah. He's in Australia, right?
Yeah, he was a guy who had an automatic lock on his door at NBC so that when women came in, he could have them have a hard time getting out. At least that's what he was accused of. Well, he was one of the Me Too poster children at the time. And you would think largely unemployable, right?
You would think, right?
After rumors surfaced that former NBC stalwart Matt Lauer would be making his TV comeback over at CNN, Jeff Zucker, Lauer's former boss at NBC and the current boss at CNN, adamantly denied the rumors. The reports that Zucker sent word out to all employees at CNN telling them there is absolutely no truth at all to the reports that Matt's coming to CNN. The rumors appeared to have started with Page 6 report. He left, of course, NBC in disgrace in 2017, coming out of seclusion to attend Zucker's 54th birthday party. The Post notes that CNN regulars such as Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo were also on hand. A relaxed Lauer was seen laughing and chatting with Zucker at the celebration. Zucker reportedly addressed the Lauer rumor during one of his regular town hall meetings in which he spoke on an internal broadcast that went out to CNN employees. So that means that Matt Lauer will be hired next month by CNN. I think that's what we can count on. And
yeah, I mean, everyone's going to have to tune in to see that, right?
Yeah. And there was a host on the BBC, on BBC Radio.
He made a thing about the baby.
Yeah. A well-known BBC host was fired after he compared the new royal baby Archie, which I think is a great name because, you know, I don't know of anybody else in British history in the royal family that was named Archie. Maybe Archibald.
They're going to call him Archiekins.
Maybe Archibald, but Archie is a great name. And plus, he's seventh in turn for the throne. So he could, if everything is right, if 6 other people die, he becomes king. That'd be great to have King Archie, you know, and then he could marry Veronica, you know.
And Jughead could be his.
Jughead could.
You know how they're going to die, don't you?
How?
100,000 people in Europe already have been infected by the measles virus.
Okay. Do you know where the largest amount of measles are in the United States?
Oh, yeah. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Do you know
They're
where it
getting
is?
measles like crazy.
New York City. New York. 80,
Yeah.
I think 80% of the measles outbreak is in New York City.
My sister's worried in school.
The guy that got fired from the BBC compared the baby to a monkey, I believe.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Oh, my
God. What he did, he was fired Thursday on the BBC after he sent out a tweet with a photo of a chimp in a suit along with the message, "Royal baby leaves hospital." You know, now, I don't know if he was thinking, hey, I'm making a joke about the fact that the chimp looks like a black person or something like that, but it was not a judicious idea.
I think he was thinking, how can I get fired today?
Yeah. I think that was a very good way. Yeah, it's amazing. Well, we got about a minute left here, and what do you know? We actually made it through a whole show, and screw it if I'm not in sync. It doesn't matter. Just pay attention.
Well, tomorrow you'll be in sync because it's Phil-free Friday.
Well, that means that Tom can call and Scott can call.
It's a safe zone for liberals.
It's funny, when you aren't on, we get more people than we usually have.
No problem.
Yeah, no problem for me either. But anyway,
hey, I'll just watch.
What do you have tomorrow? You're not going to go beat up on some other photographers.
No. This is the Underwater Society, Underwater Photographer Society, NCUPS. If you want to see what they do, it's ncups.org. Northern Underwater Photographers Society.
Oh, you know something? I should have been running the theme all along here. I didn't start on time. Anyway, hey, listen, good having you all here. I want to thank, first of all, I want to thank Charlie, and then I want to thank Eddie, and I want to thank Phil, and I want to thank Patrick, as always, as I've been doing for years and years and years. I've known him longer than I've known most wives. Let me see here. Tony, thank you so much. Tim, thank you. I'm sure we'll hear you on the next show right after us. And, of course, Charlene, always great to have you here. If you would all give a big wave goodbye, I'll wave back at you, okay? All right? I'll be delayed waving back at you, but I will wave back at you. I got to move this camera over. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Okay, bye-bye. Now, you may notice I'm out of sync, but the minute that I hang up on these people, all of a sudden I will go into sync. See, there we are. Now we're in sync. Oh boy, I always feel like I'm 4 seconds behind in the citizens panel and all of that. That's it for now. I'm through for tonight. Next is The Intersection with Jack Bishop. Tomorrow night at 9:30, it will be Damian Chaplin back from his root canal. He'll be here doing whatever, and then at 10 o'clock I'll be back again. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye, everybody.